Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everybody, happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. Oh man, my hair looks terrible. Tried to fix it right before stream and nope. Oh well, I'm just gonna run with it. I'm in dire need of a haircut. Gotta make sure our on-air sign is on so that everybody knows that we are broadcasting or live streaming. Panic Roll, how's it going? Good evening. Thank you for joining us. What is the dinner report for tonight? Can't leave that out. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about a little movie. Some of you may have heard of it. Probably not.
Indie film?
Yeah, you know, it's a small thing. Talking about Avengers Endgame.
Oh, I can't wait.
The hype.
Yeah.
Taco Hamburger Helper. Dude, I love Hamburger Helper. I haven't had Hamburger Helper.
Taco Hamburger Helpers. Oh,
since I married my wife. She would probably spontaneously implode if I cook Hamburger Helper in this house. But it's delicious. So yeah, Endgame, dude.
Yeah. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be probably the greatest movie that I've ever seen, and also probably one of the most disappointing in a way, because no matter how big it is or how great it is, it's still gonna not be what it needs to be.
Right.
But I don't know. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel the same way about it. Like, it's... so far, none of the Marvel movies have disappointed me, really. Like, I go into them thinking, okay, it's Captain America, it's Thor, it's whatever. These are the things I want to see from it. And I never walk away going, man, they miss the important stuff.
Right.
But as they've gotten further into, like, the Avengers storyline and everything like that, I'm more and more hesitant about, like, how hyped I am about it.
Right.
Again, they haven't let me down yet. Maybe with Age of Ultron, with Avengers Age of Ultron. I was a little bit disappointed in that just because I love Ultron as a villain.
Yeah, he is great.
And I didn't feel like it delivered as much there as I was hoping it would. But generally speaking, it's been pretty solid. And I'm really worried that this is going to be where they drop the ball for me, and I don't want that to happen.
Well, I mean, 10 plus years, 20 plus movies, and they haven't done it yet. I can't.
Yeah.
I got to give them. They earned the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion. So I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm still excited. I'm still hyped for it. I'm definitely not poo-pooing it by any means.
Yeah, no.
I really don't want to like wake up Friday morning going, oh man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Because it's gonna hurt worse than if it was just like, you know, like you saw the Aquaman movie recently.
Yes.
And I know people had said it was really good. We kind of talked about, you know, checking it out, and like I wanted it to be good.
Yeah.
But I'm not like super heartbroken that it was kind of disappointing.
Right.
Like fine, you know, whatever. But if this movie is disappointing, it's just gonna destroy me.
Yeah, this is the payoff. This is the build for everything. It has to be amazing.
So, favorite character in the MCU?
Ooh, that's tough. That's really tough. I mean, it varies from movie to movie, to be honest with you. You gotta love Cap, you gotta love Stark, Spider-Man. It's hard to pick, man. It really is.
How about this? Favorite character from just the people who are remaining going into Endgame?
Okay. This is probably not going to surprise anybody, but I'm going to go with Thanos.
All right, fair. I should have seen that coming.
He got me into comics, so I owe him that much. What about you? Who's your
Well, I'm thinking about this chat. Why don't you chime in? Let us know what your favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe character is. Ideally, of the ones that are left going into Endgame, but it can be anyone.
It's tough.
It is difficult. I inherently side with Captain America just in general because I like who he is. I like who Steve Rogers is.
Yeah.
So he's definitely near the top of my list. I do like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, of course. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he kicked off the Marvel franchise. So, you know, props to him. But I don't think he's my favorite. Like, I like Thor a lot. Chris Hemsworth as Thor has really made the character.
Yeah. It took a minute though. It wasn't. Again, I don't hate any of the movies, but his series did start off a little slow.
I thought his first one was good. I thought the Dark World was a little bit weaker, but I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people felt that way about Captain America, though.
Sure.
A lot of people disliked his first movie, the most.
Right.
Because it was a little bit campy, kind of
Sure.
cheesy, but I mean, it was meant to kind of be filmed through that nostalgic lens.
Right.
So, Panic Girl says in the MCU, Cap all day, followed by Nebula. Good choice with Nebula.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd see many people saying that she's one of their favorites, but she is awesome.
Yeah.
And I like that they've done a good job with her of like kind of towing the line between villain, but also kind of understandably villainous.
Yeah.
Kind of anti-hero type.
They've been true to her character. I
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah, they've done a good job with the motivations there and everything like that. And the relationship between her and Gamora has been really good to see kind of develop a little bit.
Right.
It's interesting, actually, that the best, in my opinion, the best recurring villains throughout the Marvel movies, discounting Thanos, have been the siblings of two of the heroes. You got Nebula, you got Loki.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're the only characters that started off as villains in their original perspective movies that survived into sequels and then became kind of heroes.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't thought about that.
So, they did a good job with both those characters. And I guess they really played on the familial relationship between Loki, Thor, and Gamora and Nebula in order to kind of make that work.
Yeah, they definitely played it up in the Thor Ragnarok.
Really? My wife is about to start pouring some ice, so you might hear some clinking in the background.
Yeah, they definitely played it up in the Thor Ragnarok.
Cheeky Ellie, hi, hello, thank you for joining. Sorry, go ahead and say it again.
Hey, yeah, in Thor Ragnarok, the whole get help thing with Thor and Loki, and
Right.
yeah, they definitely played it up in that. That was like probably one of the strongest storylines in that movie. So
Yeah, I agree. And I just like I like Tom Hiddleston as Loki. But anyways, favorite character. Cheeky Ellie, who's your favorite MCU character? Preferably going into Endgame, so just from the surviving heroes. Well, characters. Samson said Thanos. I think of all of them, I legitimately I think my favorite one is probably Ant-Man, Paul Rudd.
yeah,
He's just so good.
yeah,
Like
perfect.
he's got that streetwise but still kind of innocent buffoon thing going on. Like
Right.
he's done time, he's been around the criminal element and whatnot, but he's such a wholesome dude.
Yeah,
And he plays it off so well. Like Paul Rudd is he's a gem. I love him.
I'm really happy that they allowed Paul Rudd to be Paul Rudd while still being Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing that, like, I was actually having a conversation with somebody today at work. They haven't seen Ant-Man yet. And
I haven't seen the first one. I've only seen the second one.
Okay, so and he was like, Paul Rudd to me is rom-com. And I was like, yeah, but that it's the same Paul Rudd, but he's
Right.
a superhero, so you got to watch it. So
I think that's one of the reasons I like it so much is that he really comes across as just an average Joe who happens to be good at breaking into places and stealing stuff, and he gets a super suit.
Yeah.
It's not quite Iron Man super suit, but it's still a super suit.
yeah,
And he is able to make it work. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I like about him the most.
yeah. I mean,
Cheeky Ellie says that doesn't leave a ton of choices to just choose between the people going into Endgame. Okoye and Steve Rogers. I can agree. Okoye is actually a badass. Like, I love the entirety of Black Panther's the Dora Milaje.
yeah,
They were all just so freaking cool looking on screen. I loved all of them.
yeah,
So we actually got to meet one of them. She was actually the stunt double for Okoye, I think. Her name is Janisha Adams Ginyard. We met her at a small convention out here. And in addition to doing stunt double work, she also was one of the extras in the Dora Milaje. So, you see her a couple times on screen where she's like standing there with the spear and in the costume, and she's a really cool person. But anyways,
yeah. No, they did a great job with them too. One of the things I was gonna say for I don't know what I was gonna say. I can't remember.
Panic Roll says hi, Sarah. Sarah says hi, Panic Roll. Scott Lang would definitely be somebody you'd want to have around. He's easily the best adjusted. Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, he seems the most capable of returning to a normal life.
Yeah.
After everything goes down. Like, the rest of them, kind of like, it's kind of like Black Widow says in the trailer, actually. Or it's Black Widow and Cap are talking, and they say something along the lines of, like, you know, we've been telling everybody to move on, and for the most part they have, except for the people in this room. Like, we're the only ones who haven't moved on from this. And I think that's true of pretty much everybody else in the Avengers. I think, like, Ant-Man's the only one who'd be capable of being like, we save the world? Okay, cool. I've got my daughter to get back to, so I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, I mean, like, clearly he did that. He made the choice to...
Yeah, he made the deal for the Sokovia Accords, so I can agree with that. Darcy Lewis. Oh, Darcy. That's Jane Foster's friend, right?
Yeah.
The Meow Meow? What's Meow Meow?
Right.
Which was one of the best lines in the Avengers movies for a long time. But yeah, I think Scott Lang is probably my favorite character. But I do love Cap. I do love T'Challa. I love Thor. Like you said, it's hard to choose really which one is like your absolute favorite, but
yeah, I mean, even like you're like a lot of everybody's saying, like, you know, kind of secondary characters like Luis from Ant-Man.
I love him,
dude. Like, I just want him to explain everything to me because I love the way he does it.
I want him to give a recap of the whole thing. I've seen that meme going around.
Yeah, but like, there's so many characters that, you know, it doesn't have to be like one of the big superheroes to have like a favorite or whatever. It's I don't know. They've just done a good job character development.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think actually it's one of the strengths of the MCU is not just that their leading heroes are, you know, compelling and interesting and well cast. It's that all the people that kind of support them and make up the background characters and whatnot of their stories are well cast and well written into those stories.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like they're just there as like a plot device or as a love interest or as whatever. Like, they're all interesting characters in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And so because people can remember those supporting characters so well, I think that really makes these movies stand out beyond, like,
yeah,
you know,
it anchors them in reality more, I think. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the reasons that the Marvel movies stand out more so than the DC movies. Yeah. Because in the DC movies, just like in the comics, like, their characters are always center stage, like, their heroes are always the ones that have to save the day and have to be the most important, and you can kind of tell when you look at, like, the power levels of, you know, when you compare the DC to the Marvel universe just on paper, DC is they're just more powerful. They're, in fact, a lot of times they're just crazy powerful to the point where it's ridiculous. And that kind of ekes over into, like, the way they've done the movies, where it's like, normally in Superman's story, you've got Ma and Pa Kent are really prominent, important figures.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, they really weren't.
Yeah.
Like, you got that whole thing with, like, Pa Kent being kind of weirdly written and his motivations are all messed up. And then Ma Kent she shows up a couple of times, but...
Well, I mean, I just think, I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what Zack Snyder had, like, the overall vision, just out of sheer morbid curiosity. But
right.
I have no idea where he was going. It's so weird, and the stuff that he's leaked since then, it's just I don't know what he was doing. I'm not sure that he did.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, to be fair, I'm not necessarily mad at Zack Snyder for that. He was trying to take it in a different direction, and let's face it, there's a lot of baggage to unpack with any of the long-standing comic book characters. So to basically be like, okay, we want you to helm this DC expanded universe on film from start to finish, that's a huge undertaking.
It's an instant ulcer.
Like,
right there. That's
George R.R. Martin can't do that with his own books, where he can like finish them on time at this point.
Yeah.
And he created those from start to finish.
Right.
Taking somebody else's baby and trying to figure out, especially when it's as convoluted as DC, and figure out how to put it on screen that would make new viewers happy and make, like, longtime fans happy. I didn't envy that guy the job. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's kind of a no-win situation, really. I mean,
pretty
you've
much,
got to pick which battles you want to fight. And
yep. All right. Cheeky Ellie says, I think I'd love to hang out with Thor. Yeah, I can agree with that. Thor would be fun to party with. Leia needs to go out. Yeah, you go take care of the pupper. Cheeky Ellie, I love how the cast has become friends and have such great chemistry. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think for me, the thing that I love the most is the off-screen friendship between Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Like they go out kind of of their own volition, and they go in character to children's hospitals, and they do all this stuff.
Right.
And they just, I get the feeling they legitimately like just enjoy hanging out with each other,
yeah.
which is the best.
Well, all like the whole core Avengers thing, like I don't know if you've ever seen any of like the talk show when they're doing like the promotions and stuff, but just the vibe that they all have, like you could tell they all got matching tattoos, so like
the original ones,
right?
And it was like a specific design that incorporates an element from each of the characters, or something.
I think so,
yeah, something like that, yeah.
So I don't know. There's definitely a bond there. It's gonna be. You know, if these actors don't ever show back up, it's going to be interesting to see where Marvel goes, because it's some pretty big shoes. So
yeah, I agree. Have either of us watched the sci-fi series Krypton? I have not. I will be completely honest. I don't have any interest in Gotham or Krypton. Those aren't where the characters get interesting for me. Like, I don't care about Bruce Wayne right after his parents were murdered. We've heard the story 1,000 times. We get it. Like, he's not Batman yet, so introducing some of his villains doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know. And then the Krypton thing is, we know what happens. It's a foregone conclusion. Why do I care about these characters?
Yeah, that's one of the things, and I understand why they did it. There's marketing and there's fans that want more and stuff, but supposedly he's the last son of Krypton, but there's 10, 15 Kryptonians in DC currently, like at any given moment.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. So like, if you're even looking at the whole Krypton thing, it's like, well, we know Superman gets away, and spoiler alert. But yeah, you've got Supergirl. What's Kara Zor-El?
Yeah, I think so.
And then you've got Power Girl, who's also Kryptonian.
Yeah.
And depending on which continuity you're reading, she's also Supergirl. It's weird.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I got that wrong. DC is too confusing to try to keep track of all their timelines. And then, of course, you got Zod and... What's her name? I forget there's the big dude and then the lady that hangs out with Zod. I don't remember their
General
names.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even like Brainiac, I know he's not Kryptonian, but he kind of is the collective consciousness of it now. And then, Crypto and, I don't know, there's just...
Yeah, that's just talking about the comics. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Feora, that's right. That was the name of Zod's female lieutenant.
She was pretty awesome.
Ellie says, I like Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. Yeah, I can agree with that. They're cool characters. I like that they're both not sidekicks, but they're both secondary heroes to Captain America.
Yeah. They're both really crucial to his...
They are, yeah. Without the Falcon, I feel like he wouldn't be as grounded in the modern world. Because, he had Black Widow, but she's a spy.
Yeah.
No matter how much he says, oh, yeah, I trust you, absolutely, there's always going to be that tiny little bit of, Right. And you just don't get that from Sam Wilson in the MCU. He doesn't have the, he's got the special covert ops thing down, but he doesn't have the I can easily betray anybody at any time thing the way Natasha Romanoff does.
Right.
So I think it was important for Cap to have a friend like that, who also had a shared kind of background in kind of traditional, conventional military forces, whereas Natasha Romanoff doesn't have that aspect.
Right.
And so I think that helped, kind of gel things together. And of course, I mean, The Winter Soldier was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
And even knowing that Bucky was going to come back as a Winter Soldier, when I watched the movie, I was really impressed with the kind of transformation that Sebastian Stan made from when he was Bucky in the first Avenger to when he was the Winter Soldier. Right. And I was really impressed with that.
Yeah.
I really liked
him. He did an amazing job. That guy is definitely a good actor. The Mark Hamill Jr. look-alike.
Yes, I was just going to ask about that. The side-by-side, they look
crazy.
Exactly the same. Welcome back, Panic Roll. Cheeky Elliot interviews. They have a lot of fun together. Yeah, they give each other a lot of like a hard time.
Yeah.
From what I know, so that's kind of cool. His murder strut. Wait, I know. I'm assuming you're talking about the Winter Soldier. So let's get into some theories about where the movie's gonna go. You know, let's talk a little bit about this.
I almost hate to speculate because everything I can think of, I think would make me mad because I thought of it. But I don't know, man. I mean, they're clearly gonna undo some stuff. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I'm sure it has something to do with Strange, but I don't know. I don't want to get too deep down that rabbit hole because then I don't want to like disappoint myself if I think it's something that maybe
Ollie.
I like better, or I don't know. I hesitate to do it. I don't know. What about you? And there's so many theories out too. It's crazy.
See, I don't mind theorizing and like getting like beautiful minding it, you know, just because if they tell a different story, that's not going to be bad. It's not necessarily going to be worse. It's just going to be a different story, not what I would have done. So I'm not afraid to do it necessarily, but I understand your hesitation.
Yeah.
So. Oh, sorry, Panic Girl. Ollie is our cat. He was. Sarah's got a puzzle out on our little folding table, and he jumped up there and started rolling around on it. So I was trying to encourage him not to ruin her puzzle. And we've talked about this a little bit before, like how we think they're gonna end up defeating Thanos. Like, is Nebula gonna play a significant part in it? Is Drax gonna play a significant part in it? Just because those two characters, more so than really anybody else, they're the character. Although I guess Drax he's not there.
Yeah, he's not.
Damn.
They removed that chess piece from the table. Yeah, I mean, where's Silver Surfer when you need him? That's all I know.
Seriously. But I think Drax and Nebula, more so than any other character in the universe, have the most justification for wanting Thanos dead.
Yeah.
And the most, like, for them, it's the strongest source of motivation because, like, Drax's whole thing from the beginning when he was introduced was, I'm here to kill Thanos.
Yeah.
Nebula's whole thing has been, you know, he trained me. I hate him. I hate Gamora. I want to kill them both.
Yeah.
She's kind of backed off on the Gamora thing, but she still really wants to kill Thanos.
Especially now that
Right.
Gamora's gone.
Yeah. So I think that like if one of those two is not involved in taking Thanos down, I'm gonna be severely disappointed. As much as I want to see like, you know, Iron Man and Cap and Thor, if this is gonna be their last movie with the big three of them together, as much as I want to see them be the ones to kind of like, you know, lay Thanos out.
Yeah.
I really feel like the final piece of the puzzle has to come from either Drax or Nebula.
So do you think for sure that they're getting rid of him? Or do you think they're going to softball and try to like lock him up or something? Or like, I don't know how that works
I'm not
out.
saying necessarily they're going to kill him. Just that they're going to beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
My thing is, Drax is gone, he was snapped. Yeah, I know. I remembered. Thank you. Wouldn't mind Thor getting another shot as people are coming back if they reverse the snap unless they rewind time as well. Yeah, see, that's an interesting point to bring up, Ellie, because the time travel thing, of course, is inherent to Doctor Strange using the Time Stone, so there is the possibility of them rewinding time and going back to fix stuff. But, you know, that carries with it certain dangers and whatnot. I feel like you can't go that far from a story writing perspective. So undoing the snap and bringing back everybody that was killed by the snap back, cool, fine. I get that. I'm okay with that because that's kind of predicated on the fact that the Infinity Gauntlet is able to get rid of all those people. It's able to bring all those people back, right? So no harm, no foul. But from a narrative perspective, I think if you go back in time and you start bringing people back to life, where do you stop with that? Because all of the Avengers have reasons to go back a little bit further, save one more person.
Yeah.
And, like, if you save all of Thor's people, cool, the Asgardians are back. But then do you go back and do you save Uncle Ben?
Yeah.
Like, and if you save Uncle Ben, how does that affect Peter? And how does that have, you know, a reverberating effect on Spider-Man's involvement in everything?
Yeah.
And if you go further back and you stop Captain America from getting lost at sea, you know, at the end of the first Avengers, so that he can be with Peggy, like, how does that affect things in the modern world? Like,
Yeah.
I think from a narrative perspective, that's a bag of cats that they don't necessarily want to open. And more importantly, I think it robs a lot of weight and emotion from those things that happened in previous movies. And for that reason, like, if I'm going to say it, if Loki's dead, I almost feel like they shouldn't bring him back if he didn't die to the snap, because
I'm kind of curious because so obviously you want the best story, but
right,
there's a much bigger power involved here, which is marketing and money.
Disney,
Yeah. So they've already announced Loki has
hashtag bring Loki back. Yeah,
right.
I agree with that.
They already announced his own series on Disney Plus. So in some way, shape, or form, he's coming back. Maybe not through this, but and then also now there's the expanded MCU is on the table. I know they said they weren't going to do anything, but I mean I wouldn't be surprised if Deadpool shows up or something like that, or they do a soft reset that allows mutants to all of a sudden be here or something like that. Like, so it's kind of interesting. And then also too, there's another thing that I think is important is Captain Marvel. She's supposed to be moving everything forward. Like maybe she's the one that handles everything. I mean, they're kind of building it up in the trailer like that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the best way for them to do it would be to have Captain Marvel help kind of soften him up.
Right.
Enough for everybody else to go in and do whatever they're going to do. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I actually would be kind of disappointing if she just like pummels him and it's over. Like that would be. Yeah. I would be like really.
I'd be pretty disappointed. Yeah. Wouldn't mind Thor. If he falls in battle, leaves and makes room for Lady Thor. Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. And actually, that's one of the things that I've talked with Samson about probably ad nauseum. He's probably sick of hearing it. But one of the biggest things for me when it comes to comic book characters, especially DC and Marvel, is let the characters evolve. Let them die. Let them move on. Let them retire. Let them go on to be happy with the rest of their lives, or not. Just do something that changes up the status quo. Batman doesn't always have to be Bruce Wayne. And I know they've done offshoots, Batman 2099 or Beyond or whatever, but that's not what I mean. I mean, like, take the character that is the headline character and have them pass that mantle on for real. No soft reboots, no retcons, no, it was all a ploy, body double, shape-shifting crap. Like, you can only tell so many stories with a character. So many good stories with a character. Before that character just starts to become tired. And you see it with Batman, and you see it with Superman, and you see it with even some of the Marvel characters, like Wolverine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And every time they're like, now something's going to happen that's going to shake this character to his very core, and it just ends up resetting back to the status quo in 5 issues.
But now he wears a black t-shirt.
Right. It's some dumb, minor change. And you get certain characters that they do have a legitimate change. Like when when Mjolnir went from Thor, Eric Masterson, what the heck is his...
Yeah, Eric Masterson.
Eric Masterson?
Yeah.
When it went from Thor to Jane Foster, and she became Lady Thor. And that series ran for a while. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but it ran for a couple years.
I think they've wrapped it up, but they are, according to a thing I read, I don't know, didn't get into the story, but apparently they're bringing her back as a Valkyrie.
Okay.
So,
and see, that's cool. I like the fact that you were telling new stories with the Thor character, the Thor mythos, and a lot of the baggage that comes with the character of Thor, but suddenly you put a new person in that role who has different skill set, different backgrounds, different motivations, different outlooks, and you get to see how they would handle the situation differently than the original hero. And I feel like DC and Marvel are just deathly allergic to that concept. And it makes sense because these are their big money-making, flagpole characters. But for me, it's killed my interest in reading these characters.
Yeah.
I don't buy DC comics anymore. I don't buy Marvel comics anymore. It's the same stories over and over again. Or they pull some crazy stuff out of left field, like saying Captain America was a Nazi Hydra agent the entire time. And, like, those kind of publicity stunts just kill me even worse. So I am excited for the Marvel movies to proceed on and for certain characters to fade out or take a step back or whatever and let new characters come in.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's the evolution of the story. And I think that's more important than, having the same characters or having the same actors play the same characters in movies going forward.
I agree with all that.
Steve Rogers lobbying against anti-vaxxers, big pharma. But yeah, actually, I agree with that. Like, if Steve Rogers did decide to retire from being a full-on superhero, but still goes on to do public service, he goes in as a senator or a lobbyist or whatever, and he's working towards the greater good.
That'd be cool.
From a different perspective.
Politician.
What I think would be really cool, now that that's mentioned, is if you had like a little bit of a political legal drama story arc in the comics, where you had like Captain America as like a senator or a governor or whatever, and you had Jennifer Walters.
No.
Jennifer Walters?
She-Hulk, yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer Walters and Matt Murdock,
awesome.
providing legal advice and stuff like that. Like, it probably wouldn't work for a long-term series, but as a short run, I think it would be a really interesting concept to see those characters in, the more political side of things.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You could even get some Jessica Jones in there. They hire her for some PI work.
That's true, yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, that's my soapbox. Who do you think is going to die?
I mean, I really don't want anybody to die, but I think probably Cap or Iron Man. I mean, those are the two that seem like they would be the most devastating emotionally. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean,
Cheeky Ellie and Panic Girl both said Cap immediately.
I mean, it makes the most sense. He's got two predecessors that are currently in the MCU. That would be amazing at it. And I kind of hope that they both ascend to that mantle at the same time. That would be awesome. I would love to see Winter Soldier Cap and Falcon Cap.
I can kind of see that. I think Hawkeye is probably going to die.
Think so?
They're setting up in the trailers him mentoring presumably his daughter.
Right.
And in the comics,
what's her name again?
It's Kate Hudson. Is that right?
But what's her code name? I can't remember.
It's Hawkeye.
Yeah, well, she goes by Hawkeye.
Yeah, they
too.
both go by Hawkeye.
Okay. Right. Yeah. It shows them shooting at the tree, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kate Bishop. Sorry, not Hudson.
Okay.
Kate Bishop. Yeah, Cheeky Ellie says or Kate Bishop. Thank you. I don't know where Kate Hudson? I don't know where that came from. Anyways. Yeah, Chris Evans' contract is up. I know.
I don't know that necessarily means anything, though.
I agree, because technically Robert Downey Jr.'s contract was up a couple of movies ago. And they
three of them.
Yeah, they kept bringing him back. But for me, I feel like Hawkeye is probably going to die, which sucks, because I like Hawkeye. I do feel like they kind of wasted him in the movies.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't do a good enough job establishing him as, kind of the average Joe of the team,
right,
in such a way that we should care about him and what happens to his family. I care about it because I've been a Hawkeye fan from the comics forever now.
Yeah.
But I think the average movie-going audience probably is whatever, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, I mean, he ran West Coast Avengers, that guy.
Yeah, he led the
leader.
Avengers at one point. He's a badass.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think they bring? Who do you think they bring back? Let's do that.
Real quick, Cheeky Ellie says it matters to him. He really wants to do different stuff. Referencing Chris Evans, I can agree with that. I think when we say we don't know that the contract being up matters, I think what we mean is that doesn't inherently mean the character's going to die. They might leave him alive so that there's the opening for him to come back and do cameos and things like that. But yeah, I know Chris Evans really is hankering to go on and do different projects now. So, you know, that'll probably be what happens. Like, in that Cap is not in the center stage anymore at all.
He'll be back. He's, I think, the actor that's been in the most comic book movies as different characters. I think he's got the title for that, so he'll be back.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But who are they going to bring back? I think they're going to bring back everybody that got taken in the snap.
Okay, what about Gamora? Too far back?
See, that's a tougher call. I can see Peter, Star-Lord, really hammering the point that like they have to bring her back.
Right.
But again, that goes into if they bring her back, do they go back? They bring Loki back. I know Loki's not really dead, but you know. And then if they go back and they bring Loki back, then what's to stop them from going back a little bit further and bringing Dr. What's her name? Marvel from Captain Marvel.
Right.
Like, they could go back and bring her back. Granted, that was 20 years ago, but they.
Yeah.
Where do you stop in going back and saving people from this kind of sequence of events that led to where we are?
I do have one spoiler of a character guaranteed that's coming back. Hulk.
Oh yeah,
he was absent from the movie, so
oh yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen.
Sorry, cheap spoiler.
So Cheeky Ellie says, I know who I really don't want to die is Okoye, Clint, and Scott. Who's to say they'll have any kind of control over... Yeah. So, we'll go in order of comments there. I agree with you. I would hate to see Okoye die because she's cool, and I would really like to see that central three characters from Black Panther come back. Okoye, T'Challa, and... What was the other lady's name?
I can't remember.
His love interest. Lupita Nyong'o played her.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't remember what her name is. But I'd really just see the three of them come back because I like the dynamic they had. Whether or not they'll... Shuri, thank you. Wait.
No, that's
Shuri's his sister.
Yeah.
Nakia. That's who it is.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah Grimm. How's it going?
Hey.
Thanks for joining. And it's true. They might not have any say over how far back they're able to go. We'll just have to see how that rolls. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they can bring back Coulson. Although he's technically still back. I mean, how far do they go?
That's a...
Yeah.
We can get to that in a minute. Panicroll says, I'm hoping for Professor Hulk. Professor Hulk would be kind of cool.
I agree with that.
Although, like, the Professor Hulk thing gives rise to the whole concern about... who is it? The Maestro?
Yeah.
Which... that might be an interesting kind of offshoot story at some point.
I wonder if they were planning to do anything like... I mean, they sent him away already to the place, but like when the Illuminati sent him away and he came back as World Breaker Hulk.
Yeah, so they kind of wrapped that into the Thor Ragnarok,
right.
Like, end of Avengers, Age of Ultron, Thor Ragnarok. So.
But it would be cool to see that Hulk, too. I mean, I really like that character. That was a good story. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how that rolls. They announced that Disney is going to be doing the streaming, on their streaming thing, it's like a What If series.
Yeah. Which
I'm very intrigued by because, you've got things like, what if Peggy Carter was the one who got the super soldier serum and became Captain America? I think they're all going to be animated, if I remember correctly.
Are they all animated?
I think that's what I read. I could be wrong.
That's awesome. I'm okay with that.
But I would love to see that. I am looking forward to that series. You know what? Damn it. Stupid Disney. I'm going to be paying for their streaming service.
Yeah, I am too. Hopefully it's not ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just hope it's hosted by Watu. That would be great. If he was doing his Hitchcock opening thing, would be so awesome.
Sitting in an armchair, the lights go up.
Yeah. So good.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that series just because it'll be interesting to see slightly different variations on the MCU versions of the characters. So, yeah, that'll be cool. What are your tickets?
7:15 Thursday.
Sarah and I are going to see it 7 o'clock Thursday.
Nice.
So we'll be watching it at the same time, just in different theaters. What about the rest of you? Do you guys have tickets yet? If so, what showing? When are you going? Sunday. Cheeky Ellie says Sunday.
Nice.
At that point, the crowd should have died down a little bit, so that's not too bad.
I mean, if any indication of the last movie, then no.
That's a good point. Yeah. Apparently, Endgame is the current record holder for the most number of pre-sale tickets.
No.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive, but, movies costed more. Well, I guess you're just saying the number of tickets, so I guess that is still impressive, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. It's going to be nuts. I know when I bought my tickets, there were slim pickings for seats. Like, it was kind of hard finding seats together, so. Yeah,
I got really lucky because I had to wait until kind of late to buy my tickets. I bought them, last week, I think. And was looking at a bunch of different showings, going for, the later ones, the 9 and 10 o'clock ones. Couldn't find anywhere I had 3 seats together because our buddy Eric is going to join us. And I just happened to check the 7 o'clock showing, and they had some towards the back, right on the aisle, the 3 seats. Yeah. There was 4 seats in a row. So I snagged those as soon as I saw them because it wasn't going to happen otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, I went through, I was like, how much for the 6 o'clock? Nothing.
Yeah.
6:15, 6:30. We went through a bunch of them before I got to the 7:15, so.
Yeah, they started selling early. Panda Girl, no tickets for me yet. Have to wait for the crowds to die down. Yeah, I can understand that. The one thing I will say is with the advent of pre-sale tickets and pre-selected seats, you don't have as much of the massive crowding outside the theater where people line up for 3 hours beforehand waiting to get in and get a seat.
I kind of miss that though.
I do kind of miss that, but I'm also kind of not missing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I don't know, it was kind of weird. It was like a little mini hype thing before you got in, but at the same time it was a little mini hype thing before you got in. It was kind of,
I feel like Sarah and we stood in line for one of the movies. It might have been the first Avengers movie. I forget which one it was, but it was one of the Marvel movies, and we had people in front of us, people behind us, and one of them, I forget if it was behind or in front. I'll just say in front. So the people in front of us were super cool, excited, chill, fun to talk to. The people behind us were just the worst kind of nerds, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it, but I kind of also don't.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, anytime there's a movie I really want to see, I have to either go opening night because I know nobody else has seen it, hopefully. Right. And they're not oh, here comes that part. I hate that so much. Right. Or I'll wait till nobody's watching it if I can't catch it. Opening right away because I hate that anticipation. I get really immersed in movies, and when it breaks my suspense of belief or reality or whatever, it really bothers me. I hate that so much.
I can understand that. And there are definitely moviegoers who do that. It's if I could gag you with a wad of Sour Patch Kids, I would. Cheeky Ellie says I used to like the big opening night thing, but my body can't handle it anymore. Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's exhausting to stand in line for that amount of time. You can't really bring your own chair because then you're sitting in the theater with a chair. Yeah. It gets weird. So yeah, I don't know. Part of it, I think, for me is I go to so many conventions now that standing in line to see a movie is kind of it's the same as going to a convention to stand in line. Yeah. And I don't have time for that. If I'm going to be standing in line for 3 hours, I could be sleeping for that 3 hours and seeing the movie the next day, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. So I'm all fine with selecting tickets and seats in advance, personally.
Yeah, good with that.
People talking to you using their phones really take me out of the moment. Yeah, it's a classic kind of stereotype or trope or cliche or whatever you want to call it. But it happens, and it drives me freaking crazy. I can't tell you the number of times I've had to, actually tell someone, put your phone away in the middle of a movie, and then they get pissed at me like I'm being an asshole. How does that make any sense whatsoever?
That's the you get cut off on the freeway and the guy's flipping you off, or you're like, you cut me off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're the one being a jerk. Why are you mad at me?
Yeah.
Like,
People.
yeah, people can't stand them. Sarah actually is going to buy herself a shirt here in the next little bit that says, "The two things that I can't stand are people and cilantro."
Nice.
And it's very true. She can't stand either of them. But anyways, it's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough too. And that was like, when it started getting into like the 7:15, I was like, oh, I gotta work the next day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Maybe we're not going, but
Luckily, Sarah took the day after off, and I'm working from home the next day.
Nice.
That day, so she and I can both sleep in a little bit. I don't have to like drive anywhere. I don't have to be seen by people. So if I'm up late geeking out about the movie, and I wake up late and I look like, death warmed over, wearing an Avengers t-shirt, it won't be disruptive to anybody because I'll be at my home. It'll be nice. Anyways, I think, unless there's anything else you want to talk about for Avengers Endgame.
No, I mean, I don't really want to speculate too much because I don't.
Coward.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all I want to do is speculate. Getting into the last few days before the movie, I gotta see it.
There's some interesting theories, but
yeah,
I don't know if I want to buy into them. I don't trust the internets.
No, of course not. No, don't trust anything the internet says. But you can still take it, like, talk about it and unwrap it.
Sure.
Analyze it. He's not going to do
We'll
it.
talk about it after I watch it.
Fine. Jeez. All right. In that case, we're going to switch over to Ravensdale Writes Comics real quick. So pardon us for just a moment while we make that happen. Should be a relatively seamless transition. Testing.
Testing.
All right, awesome. You guys can hear us. You can see us, hopefully. Cheeky Ellie is asking if I snuck looks at my Christmas presents. And I did on a couple of occasions. I remember one time I took, like, I think it was a credit card or something like that. Something really thin. And I, like, slowly worked the tape off one side of the present, and I unwrapped it, and it was a book that I really wanted. And I was so excited. I wrapped it back up, closed it. Nobody ever knew a thing. And
Until now.
What was that?
Until now.
Well, until now, yeah. Hi, Mom. But it didn't ruin the surprise for me. I'm not one of those people who, like, hi, Ayla. Come on. Come on, sweetie. Yeah, you can walk over all this. You're okay. Come on. Come up this way, then. Anyways, I'm not one of those people who, like, if I find out about something in advance, it totally ruins it for me. I can still enjoy the thing, but there's something to be said for legitimately being surprised. And so I will bug Sarah or other people if they get me a present, and I'll just be like, oh, just tell me what it is. Come on, tell me what it is. Come on. There you go. Come over here. Of course, I went ahead and did all that stuff to moved all that stuff for her, and now she doesn't want to come over here. Come on, sweetie. Cats, man. Anyways, yeah. Yep, it's an Ayla. She's off screen, but she's here. Let's zoom in on this. Let's make sure everything looks good. Seriously, Ayla? Alright, come on. Come on. Hi. Come on. You can make it. You're a cat. You're sure-footed as they come. Nope, she decided to go the other direction. Coward. Anyways, so
Camera shy.
she is camera shy, but she doesn't have a problem being heard. So we are now she's over here. There we go. We are currently working at a couple different points in the story. So Samson actually is working on this page right here, page 3. I'm gonna move No, you can see it for the most part. Oh, I poked you in the eye. Be careful. So, there's all that. So yeah, Samson's currently inking this page. You can see in the panel there with his hand in it and whatnot. So I don't know if you want to take a second to kind of show off some of the work you've already done, or
Sure. Yeah. So page 3. I'm
the bill of your hat is a little bit in the way.
not sure exactly how much more detailed I'm going to get in it, because there's some parts I kind of want to get in and change some stuff around a little bit because I'm not happy with them. But yeah, I mean, pretty good progress on that. And then
So right now, kind of center frame is the it's actually the intersection between the two smaller panels and the larger panel with the tree.
oh, okay.
Do you mind sliding it up a little so we can take a look at the bottom thing a little bit more?
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So on the bottom, you've got him being shoved into a locker, right? But he's phasing through the wall on the other side. And so are those people seeing him phasing through the wall?
Yeah, they're kind of reacting to the hand sticking out of the wall.
Okay.
On the other side. So I know we didn't write it, but I might end up throwing like a bubble in here and just be like, "Oh my god," or something, like just kind of
a ghost.
Yeah,
or
something
like
trailing
that.
off. Yeah.
Panic Girl asks, "Are the comics going to be black and white or color?" Ultimately, they're going to be color, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, shoot.
They'll all be scanned in from this point, and then the bubbles will be added with all the dialogue and narration, and I'll color them in there.
Everything I did to set up, I forgot one thing. Would you be willing to grab me the yellow cable over there?
Sure.
So I can plug in? Because I just saw our internet strength drop, and I wanted to fix that. Sorry for the slight technical issue interruption there, folks.
Just line up like that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Would have gotten it myself, but then my cat would have... She abandoned me anyways, because cats are fickle. Well, thank you.
No problem.
All right. So hopefully that improves the quality of the stream. Let us know if it gets choppy or anything like that. So yeah, it's gonna be color ultimately. I can't wait to see that part of the whole thing. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. And you guys are okay.
I'm nervous. I feel like coloring's definitely probably the weakest of my skills, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. See how it turns out.
I think it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Anybody who's seen the artwork for the Villains and Henchmen board game knows that he can color stuff too. So
Yeah, that actually did wonders for my digital coloring skills, because before
yeah?
that, I feel like from the first card on, like there's a couple of cards where they were actually pure digital in that.
oh, nice.
So like it helped a lot. Like that was really good practice for this.
Well, and they look amazing. So
Neat.
hey, Kyria Art Journey, how's it going? Thanks very much for joining us.
Hey, how's it going?
Nice to see you on stream. So, Kyria is working on a webcomic of her own. Actually,
Awesome.
I've sat in on her stream a couple of times. So
Cool.
it's kind of a Kyria. Let me know if I'm wrong with this. It's kind of a slice of life. Like the first couple issues are focusing on like kind of some stuff between people who are dating and stuff like that. So, very kind of down to earth, not superhero at all. But I'm very interested in seeing how it kind of evolves.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. Let's check it
yeah.
out. You should post if you have like an Instagram or something with it.
Yeah, feel free to
Footage,
post
yeah.
your either Twitter or Instagram account. I'm curious, so we can find it later. Slice of life. Okay, cool. Yeah.
And then I got this also too, which I'll probably start getting into, so you can see kind of the basics of how I start doing the inking. This is page 4 or 5.
Yeah, so you may need to start kind of at the top of the page. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
So this is him first taking flight and it going horribly wrong.
Yeah, you can see him kind of not really sure what to expect here.
Yeah.
And then if you slide it over a little bit, there we go. So you can see him kind of flying, and then he looks over his shoulder, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh crap!" And I guess that's where he starts to fall there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be. He basically just jumped really high, kind of type of thing. Yeah,
He hovered for a second.
Right.
Okay.
I'm flying. Oh no.
Good night, Ellie. See you later. Thanks very much for joining.
Right.
We'll catch you at the next stream. Okay, cool. And then what's at the bottom?
And then at the bottom, a little bit of the aftermath of the fall. There's basically him being carted off by EMT. His mom freaking out. She's being held back by some MPs.
Okay.
And then in this panel, he's, broken arm, broken leg, some black eyes, broken nose, some band-aids. He's got a collection.
Okay.
And, his mom's got his back. She's there, so.
He learned a lesson.
Yeah.
So that's, that's important. And so you can kind of see that scripting that I had up here. So you had panel 1. Oh, wait, sorry. No, that's the wrong...
Yeah, I think it might be page 5, or I don't know if I skipped a page.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I thought that was page 3. My bad. I had the wrong script page up. This is the script we were looking at. So, it's a close-up of him kind of looking happy when he jumps up into the air. Then we've got a sequence of panels as he falls and hits the ground. Then there's the panel for her, pushing her way past the military police. And then panel 4 is him sitting in the wheelchair and his mom standing behind him. So that's the script page that he was showing off. So yeah. Canna Girl says I spotted a wild Sarah. She's in the background making herself a quesadilla. Do you want me to position the camera a little bit, babe?
No.
There you go.
I think I should be out of frame.
I tweaked it so that you're out.
Thank you.
Kira says that looks hot. So,
Oh, wow, thanks.
Talking about the art, I presume. Maybe talking about the quesadilla. I mean, it is a gas stove, so.
Quesadillas.
I love
awesome.
quesadillas.
Yeah.
Tortillas and cheese. You can't beat that combination.
Cannot.
All right. So, Panther says, apparently he's a fan of the quesadilla as well.
I've never met anybody that doesn't like quesadillas.
I'm sure they must be out there, but hopefully they're safely, locked away in some kind of a facility. I don't really mean that. You're allowed to not like quesadillas, and I won't judge you too much for it. All right, so we're getting back into kind of continuing the fights between Procyon and Shatterstone. We left off the previous page with, Shatterstone kind of catches Procyon by surprise, pulls up this column of granite and smacks him in the chin with it, knocks him on his back, and then summons a giant hand and grabs Procyon, which is funny because in our D&D live stream yesterday, Sophia used that particular move quite a few times.
Yeah, I was
once
actually
to very
thinking
good
about
effect.
this. Yeah.
But Procyon then phases through the hand to get away, floats up, and then the hand kind of swings at him, and he flies through it, destroying it. So that's kind of where we left off with the last session. So with this session coming into page 15, I really want to get into kind of the back and forth of the fight. And you can see here where I've got an action summary basically saying that Procyon flies at him. Shatterstone's going to whip up a cloud of dirt, and then it's going to kind of escalate from there. So let me take a quick look at what other action summaries we have following this. Okay, that's right. So he lifts the burning tree, and then okay, all right, cool. So we're up through page 18 right now with our action summaries. So let's go back and let's do some panel descriptions and some dialogue. So page 15, we're getting into what are we thinking about his Procyon's flight style? Does he do the one arm extended? Does he do both? Does he do neither and kind of just fly straight head first?
I mean, I think he would mix it up a little bit.
I don't think he has a signature style yet.
Yeah.
So
I was always a fan of the both arms back kind of speed. like thing with like one knee bent. Like I don't know, I like the way that looks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that actually is kind of reminiscent of the card art as well.
Yeah,
because he's got that same pose. So maybe he does that. Okay. How would you describe that? Arms flexed at his side?
Yeah. That works.
Let's see. I don't think there needs to be any dialogue for this first panel, but I do need to create a couple other panels here. Okay, panel 3. Arms bent. Yeah, bent sounds, I don't know. Like they're more like flexed. So he's flying at you, but he's got his arms flexed that his fists are kind of like right about here. So I think I think that works. It tells Samson what he needs to know, and that's the important thing. Because ultimately, the audience will never see this script document that we're working on. You're all seeing a little bit of a behind-the-scenes thing. So, don't judge me too harshly here. All right, so I think with these panels, we don't need to get super descriptive. Samson's going to know what pose I'm talking about. He's going to figure out, like, facial expressions and perspective and whatever he thinks looks best for this particular page layout. I don't have anything in particular that I want to convey other than the sequence of actions right now. So I'm not going to go too much into detail. However, here, panel 2... Actually,
Smells so good.
so adding in an inset panel. So there's the panel where Shatterstone kicks up the cloud of dirt, and then right in Procyon's face, maybe you see him grimace in that panel, and the inset panel is Shatterstone kind of leaning out of the way or dodging out of the way as Procyon grabs his eyes and flies past him.
Near miss. I can't believe I just said that. That's the thing they do in work. It's horrible.
A near miss? Why is that horrible?
I just kind of hate myself for joining in on that, but subconsciously.
You're not a fan of the term?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
It's like...
Because Sarah has a long time feud with the term near miss.
Yeah, all QA people do, I think, so.
Well, because it's not technically a near miss.
Yeah, it's a near hit.
It was a near hit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's I don't know if
Panic roll, you don't have to, you know what? I see you.
Have you ever seen the George Carlin rant about that?
No.
It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Man, and here we thought we were being original in our humor. All the greats did it before we did, I guess. That's, George Carlin. I'm sure other stuff we've talked about has been in part of other... Euripides. Euripides Humanities. No? Nothing? Anyways.
That's really good.
So, let's see. Panel 2. So, panel 3 is going to be... So when the tree collapses on Procyon, what's Shatterstone's reaction? Because he's not trying to kill the guy, is he? Is he that kind of villain?
No, but I mean, I think he could take some pleasure in his work. He doesn't have to be like a maniacal laughter, but I could see him kind of having fun with it.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got no reasonable expectation to think that Procyon can survive that.
That's true. Maybe you could just kind of like be a nonchalantly like, sorry kid, type, kind of shrug off.
Okay. Okay, I like that. I'm going to have him say, so basically Procyon flies at him, Shatterstone throws the dust in his face and says, think fast, hero. And then, Procyon flies past him, hits the tree like breaks in half and starts to collapse on him. Shatterstone off panel says, not so super after all, I guess.
Alright, yeah.
So, Alright, I'm cool with that. And then, so basically he hits the tree, which is starting to collapse in the previous panel. In this next panel, I think he basically catches it. So it doesn't fully like collapse and like hit, like slam him into the ground. As it's collapsing, he basically like gets up on one knee and like grabs it as it's falling.
Okay.
I think is kind of the way that's gonna work.
Cool visual right there.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Kyria asks what type of paper you're drawing on, the size of it.
It's a 11 by 17 Strathmore. They come in pads with like the blue lines already marked onto it. It's not too pricey. It's like $17, I think, something like that. You can get them like Dick Blick. You can get it at Michael's, but it's probably gonna be more. I'm not sure where else you could really grab it at, but probably online would be the cheapest. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't remember if it's exactly called comic layout paper, but I think it's called like sequential art paper or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's a Strathmore brand. I don't know if that matters.
Where to spell that? Strathmore.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, I just like it because it's really, it's like a cold press, so it's really smooth. Is it cold press? Yeah, I think it's cold press, so it's really nice to ink on.
You said it was 11 by 17?
Yeah.
I went ahead and put it in the chat for you there, Curia, just so you could reference that a little bit more easily. But yeah, I don't know if you have tuned in any of our previous streams, but basically what Samson does is he does the initial like thumbnail layouts on index cards, like 3x5 index cards.
Right.
And then he takes them into Kinko's, or I guess it's FedEx now, isn't it? Kinko's doesn't really exist anymore. Blows them up to 11 by 17 size,
which is a 300% increase, and this is a printout of the page, the pencil page of the index card.
Right. And then you basically take that and you recreate like the line work with the light box and everything like that, and then you kind of alter from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I try to be loose. Like, I don't know if you can see in this panel, it's not like very descriptive, because when I'm penciling it, I want to capture some of the the motion and the freedom, I guess, of it.
It's interesting because you start off kind of like with vague shapes and outlines and stuff like that to kind of get positioning down when you're doing the small thumbnail.
Yeah.
And then you add more detail to that and you ink it.
Yeah.
And then you copy it, blow it up, transfer it, but you transfer it at minimal detail again.
Right.
So you kind of have to redo all that work again, but it allows you to kind of refine it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, and like I am definitely redoing the work, like the actual artwork, but all of the thought process for composition, everything is happening on the index card to make sure it fits. And I ink it just so it'll translate better when I blow it up.
Right.
But once it's already like transferred over, it really is just detail. And it's I don't know, it's kind of weird. You would think it would be the other way, but like detail is actually easier to do than the layout, the basic stuff. Like that's the hard part, making it all fit. So like the detail stuff, you could kind of, it's like phone call art. You could like literally be on the phone and just doodle and like know all the detail. Art for me, that's how it works. I don't know if everybody's the same way, but yeah, I got into this habit from when I was going to school. Like, you were forced to draw things over and over and over again.
Right.
And it like I can see the refinement helps, so I continue to do that. So
there you go. And so that's different from the way I typically write. Like, the classic mindset or philosophy about writing is that you do, you do a concept, you do an outline, then you do a rough draft, and then you do a first draft, and then you do the final product, or whatever the exact terminology is. I don't do any of that crap. I just I sit down and I start writing stuff. With the comic, I put a little bit more forethought into it. Like, we actually have a little bit of a general plot outline for what we want to accomplish. But that's just because in the comic book relationship that Samson and I have, I'm not doing all the work. So I have to be able to tell him kind of generally what to expect in the comic book. And we kind of have to work that out together as a team. One of the cats is trying to destroy something. We might need to feed them when I'm done with the stream. But
oh yeah, he's got it.
No, he's got it. Okay,
he can move the bowl.
He figured it out. So like when I'm writing something on my own, I don't have to do all that pre-work because I don't have to communicate what's in my head to somebody else for the purpose of kind of considering their contribution to the whole thing. So actually doing this project has helped me with putting that stuff down on paper before I get into the project, so that not only do you know what to expect, but I do as well. Yeah. And I can kind of rein myself in, because sometimes when I start writing something, I'm just like, I'm going to do this and this and this, and what if I did this? And I'm down in a different direction, and it becomes a whole thing. So
I mean, kind of the same thing for me. In the past, when I've tried to do anything like this, I get so far into what ifs that I never actually get anything drawn. So it's nice having like a structured, like, but you're still flexible, but like, this is how it's going, we're moving forward.
Right.
And it seems like it's helping so much. Like, I know what I'm doing before I start doing it. It's great.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. It seems like it's working out for both of us.
Yeah.
So. All right. Curious is right. I've known a few people who jump right into a project without planning it out. Yeah, that's definitely my style.
I mean, it works for some people.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like I've gotten into some projects. I've got one thing that I've been writing for a few years now, and I've probably got like 15, 16 chapters written in the damn thing.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, I need to sit down and finish it and, you know, make it a little bit more concise and, you know, a little bit more refined. But I've got a lot of it written. I haven't actually finished it because I keep getting distracted by other stuff I want to work on. So, having someone who is, kind of like you were saying, because you're expecting to have a script so that you can know what to draw, it forces me to focus on just getting the script done so that I'm not branching out into a bunch of different ideas.
That's awesome.
So it kind of, you know, helps keep me honest, so to speak. I don't know if page 16 needs anything else here. I'm going to come back to page 16. I might add a bit of dialogue on Procyon's behalf. Actually, I think I definitely will. I just don't know what. So I'm going to leave the dialogue line there, and I'll circle back to it in a minute. It's not. He looks hurt. He looks wounded and exhausted. Saying he looks hurt makes it seem like he's, you know, his feelings were hurt by whatever Shatterstone just said. So I'm going to change that a little bit. So on this one, Shatterstone is going to... Hey. Cats, man. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I keep forgetting to do this when I first start on a new page. Then it just makes more work for me. Alright, so the page after Procyon like basically catches the giant flaming tree in his hands. Shatterstone kind of takes a step back, kind of looks, you know, rightfully a little bit nervous, and says, "Hey, let's not get carried away, all right?" Procyon. What's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't climb to his feet because he's technically kneeling. So one knee on the ground and his hands are above his head holding the tree. So he doesn't necessarily struggle to his feet, but he stands.
Rises?
Up. Yeah. There you go. Rises to his feet. That's the best way to say it.
I'm really not the best help with that.
Cats. No, that worked.
Just don't ask me to spell anything. Still working on.
So Procyon rises to his feet. He's still hoisting the tree trunk with burning leaves and branches falling around him. I don't know what I want the banter to be like between these two just yet. I still need to work on that. So I kind of give Shatterstone down like he's a little bit cavalier about stuff, a little bit cocky. Procyon, not so sure though. Like I don't know if he's going to be really like full of bravado or if he's going to be a little bit more like uncertain about stuff. So I'll circle back around to his dialogue here in a minute. Right now, I'm kind of writing his dialogue in reaction to whatever Shatterstone says and does, rather than really from the perspective of Procyon, the character. And I think I need to revisit that to make his characterization a little bit stronger. But that can be done on the second pass. So. Sounds like me with the 15 chapters. Curious, as I stopped on to learn how to draw.
Well, I mean, you got a Bob Ross on there. That's a good start. That's. I spent many
You
hours.
already know how to
watching.
draw. What are you talking about? I've seen your work.
I've got to look now.
Kyria, she did provide her Instagram information, so.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
And actually,
Great.
I've looked at some of your early stuff, Kyria, like some of your early pages on the comic. From that to what I've seen you doing live on your streams, I can definitely see like the progression in your style and everything like that. So.
Yeah, this is great. Like you know how to draw. You're good. Just keep going. I don't think any artist is ever happy with where they're at. Like I don't know. I've never met one that's satisfied with where they're at. So
I mean, speaking as a writer, not an artist, I can agree with that. Okay, so he's rising to his feet with a tree trunk above his head. Burning leaves and branches are falling around him. Shatterstone jumps. How do I want to describe this?
you describing a scene or
No, I got it.
okay? Rhetorical question. Sorry if I'm bouncing for you guys.
Sorry for the bit of quiet there, folks. Samson and I are both focused on what we're doing here, so we'll get back to you in a second. So, Shatterstone rises up on the Mount of Earth. Right now, I'm just setting up the general steps. I'll go back and do more panel description in a minute. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to say he surfs away. It's not really a slide either.
Yeah, it's just kind of a hard action to describe.
Okay, there we go. So basically, he's got this ramp made of earth, and he basically is standing at the front of the ramp, and he's summoning earth behind him to kind of push him along. And so it basically creates this pathway that's suspended in midair, but held up by these rough kind of stone columns at irregular intervals. And these. Just going to make a note in the description there that the stone columns should kind of look like stalagmites. So larger at the base, kind of tapering towards the top. But, very natural kind of rock formations that you see in caves and stuff like that. So I kind of see that being the way he does things. As opposed to Iceman, who uses a similar kind of mode of transportation in the X-Men comics, where his are very... very sleek and slick because they're made of ice and everything. These are rougher. They're made out of natural components, and they're actually pulling rocks up in order to do it.
Yeah.
So it should leave a big
like a
rift in the
trench or
earth.
something.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Alright, so then we're going to go 5 panels on this page then, in order to make sure everything can fit. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a full... You know what? Alright. So basically he kind of uses this earth ramp thing to try to get away. Procyon like flies up into the air, takes the tree trunk and throws it at the earthen ramp. The whole thing kind of breaks apart and the impact throws Shatterstone off of the ramp into the ground. So that's going to be the end of page 5, I think. I need to do a little bit of touch-up work with these first couple panels. Maybe I might have to revisit that. I definitely have to revisit the dialogue for these panels or for this page because I'm not really feeling it at the moment. But next time around, I should have a better handle on it. So Curious says that's one part of this project to see my art progression. Kind of amazing. You guys are giving me more inspiration as both an artist and a writer. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. We are always happy to help with supportive words, inspiration, advice, whatever. So
Yeah, absolutely.
don't hesitate to, ask questions, pose scenarios. I mean, if you're stuck on a particular thing, we're happy to chat about it. We, obviously the focus of the channel on these streams is for us to talk about our comic and do the writing and the drawing for it, but we're not opposed to chatting about other people's stuff too. So if you have a project that you're like, yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do with this character, I'm not sure how to draw this or whatever, throw it out there. We're happy to discuss. Even if we can't help you make a decision or solve your problem, we're happy to talk through it with you. So, and that goes for anybody watching. It doesn't necessarily even have to be about comics or writing or drawing. If you just want to chat about stuff, please feel free. So let's see. Hey now, kid, let's not carry it away, all right? So Procyon basically catching a giant flaming tree in midair kind of rattles Shatterstone. So he gets ready to bail. As Procyon rises to his feet, he's still hoisting the tree trunk. What does he say?
What did Shatterstone just say to him?
Says, let's not get carried away, all right? He wouldn't call Shatterstone a punk, or, would he call him dude? I'm thinking he says something along the lines of, "You got a lot to answer for," or something like that.
Yeah, I could actually see you were trying to figure out his. I could see him trying to be the proper superhero type thing, and that sounds perfect.
You got a lot to answer for, punk.
Maybe not
pal,
but just
dude.
Maybe he could even just call him villain or something. Like, I don't know if that was like too much, but just like, stop, villain. Like, I don't know. You're trying to be too proper. Or...
Does he call him Mister?
That'd be kind of funny, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
You got a lot to answer for, Mister. All right. I don't think he needs to say anything there. So basically, Shatterstone's like, I'm expected somewhere else. I'm afraid another time maybe. He uses the ramp to start to get away. Next panel, Procyon is kind of thinking to himself, I can't let this guy escape. Here's hoping this works as he chucks the... No, you know what? I'm going to take that back. So he chucks it, breaks the thing. I think he's going to say something like, you can't let this guy escape. Good thing I've got a...
I just had a thought. I don't know how you feel about this.
Yeah,
But I think it's playing to your strengths.
go for it.
What if Procyon's like pun heavy? Like when he's throwing the tree at him, don't leave yet, but like leave or like do something like that.
You know, I thought about that early on, and I wanted to try to avoid it because I don't know that is who this character is.
Oh, okay.
And I need to be really careful about putting too much of my own sense of humor into the characters because I will make a lot of puns a lot of the time if we let me go that route.
I've got to dial it back.
So, Kyria, what's his personality type? That's a good question. Right now, he's still pretty young. He's actually 20-ish during this particular... during the bulk of this issue. It's kind of his formative, events when he first became a superhero for reals. So prior to this, he's kind of toyed around with his powers. He got himself a suit. This is his first real reaction to an emergency or a crisis. And he showed up to help people. And, it took him a second to kind of get over what was happening. But he went in and helped people. And then he got kind of ambushed by this super-powered villain guy in the middle of this raging forest fire. So he doesn't really have an approach to this whole thing. He's kind of just winging it, making it up as he goes along. So it kind of gives us a bit of a blank slate to figure out his personality exactly. He was raised by a military mom, so he's got a definite respect for the rules and for kind of being respectful and whatnot. But he is also a teenager. His dad died when he was really young, so he doesn't really remember him. So he's got kind of got that baggage. Growing up without a dad. I don't know. We want him to be a person that you like, but he's also during this he's young enough that he's not necessarily making the best choices. So that's kind of where we're coming from for right now. ultimately he's going to be a fairly responsible hero and one that works well with others. He's not there just yet. So I basically have him saying, can't let this guy escape. Good thing I've got the right tool for the job. So I think that works. This is going to be 5 panels. Feeling off my game a little bit today. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm actually not feeling great, so that might be part of it.
What? You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
Fluffy Bub, thanks for Kingdom Hearts blanket.
That's awesome. It's
Is this something that you are aware of?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. Happy late birthday.
Fluffy Bub, thanks for following. That's awesome. We appreciate that. I don't know why it didn't show up on our notifications board. What's going on with that? Hey, notifications board, you're broken. I have to figure out what's going on with that. Huh. That's really weird. Alright, so Shatterstone climbs up from the rubble. Procyon lands near him, says, hey, buddy, look, I can fly. You can't get away, so just give up already. At which point... This actually... Oh, there we go. There's the follow. It just took a while. Thank you very much for following. This might need to get divided into 2 panels. Where he, so one where he basically reaches into the earth to grab the stone. The next one where he's basically starting to pull the stone out of the earth. And then the 4th where he's basically swinging it at him.
Yeah, I can see that being sequenced. It would be conveyed easier that way, I think, for sure.
Ah. Oh shoot, that was dumb. All right. Oh. Sorry, folks, just tweaking stuff here to make sure it all kind of makes sense. All right. Here's a question. So I think we should have him swinging the boulder, and then in the next panel it should, or the next page, it should be Procyon catching it, showing the two of them like kind of straining to figure out who's stronger. So rather than
So they're
having
both holding it at the same time? Or?
yeah, so they're
Okay.
both holding like separate end, like the opposite ends of the boulder.
Okay.
And I think that shot should be on the next page rather than on this one because it feels like it's a bit much to try to cram that in here.
Okay.
So I like the idea that it kind of like this page ends off with Shatterstone swinging the boulder at him, and the next page is him grabbing it.
Okay, yeah.
So
That's cool.
So at this point, like Shatterstone has basically seen Procyon get hit in the face with a column stone. He, collided full force with a burning tree, which collapsed, but he caught it. And then he was able to fly up and throw the tree at the his little ramp thing. So at this point, Shatterstone knows he doesn't have to necessarily pull punches with Procyon. Like he figures I can go full strength on this.
Yeah.
And so that's why he pulls the rock up and tries to like smack him with it. That's where we're at, I think, in Shatterstone's mindset.
Okay.
So
He's getting a little bit annoyed. He wants to kind of get it over with.
yeah, he's like, you know what, I've got stuff to go do. So let's get this show on the road. Should have done this before, and I didn't. Page 19. Action summary. Panel 1. So 19, 20, 21, 22. So this is, in theory, page 22 is the last page of the comic, but we'll see if that actually pans out. So right now we're on page 19. Action summary here is, Procyon catches the other end of the boulder. To divide to see who is stronger before the boulder shatters in a loud crack. Alright, so these last few pages I'm kind of just doing action summaries right now. I'm not going to do panel descriptions just yet. I'm kind of just pacing this out so that next session we kind of know what we're going to be working on. So the two are vying to see who's stronger. On this page, the boulder is going to basically shatter apart from the strain between the two of them. It's going to throw them both backwards, basically, as the thing explodes. So Procyon's going to grab Shatterstone while he's stunned. He's basically going to fly high up in the air with him so that Shatterstone can't really summon any rock or stone or anything to help him out. Come on. Yeah, come on. Nightly visit from the cat. Oh, yeah, good girl. You sit right there. Yeah, good girl. So I figure, basically, Procyon flies him up so high that the air is thin, and Shatterstone actually passes out from the altitude, and so that's how he kind of subdues him.
Yeah.
So, at which point he goes to. What happens next? I know Maelstrom shows up and.
Yeah. I mean, he's already in the air. She's got a couple of methods to get him out of there.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Hi. Yeah. Good girl. Sorry, I had to placate the cat. Good girl. All right. Alright, I think I'm going to leave the action summary for the last couple of pages for the next session. Because I generally know what I think I want to have happen, but I don't know the specifics. And I don't want to try to force it. Like I said, I'm not feeling completely on my game. So this will give me an opportunity to kind of review these pages and see if I want to tweak anything. And then next time we can finish off the last few pages of action summaries for the issue. And then at that point we'll kind of be at the end of the script. We'll go back, we'll do the panel descriptions and dialogue for the last few pages, and then, we'll either go back through and clean it up a little bit, whatever we need to do. But we're almost done with the script for this issue, at the very least.
Nice.
The artwork, obviously, is a slightly slower process to make sure it looks good. So, I'll just have to start dancing or singing or something to keep you all entertained while Samson's drawing. Good girl. I'm telling you, this cat, man, she absolutely loves to sit next to me when I'm on the computer. Sarah and I were talking about possibly setting up another camera, just right here, so that they can see her.
Cat cam?
Cat cam.
Nice.
So, and then whenever she's here, we turn the cat cam on.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. Cat cam yes, cat cam no.
I vote yes.
I vote yes too, but that's because I'm biased. I think my cat's beautiful. Yeah, good girl. Of course, watch, as soon as we put the cat cam up, she will never jump up again. Cat cam. Panic Girl's on board with cat cam. Fluffy Bub says cat cam as well. Panic Girl suggests we do a geek out while you draw. I guess that's true. Like, we don't have to...
Yeah.
We don't have to exclusively do comic book stuff while you're drawing. We could talk about all kinds of things. Actually, next weekend... Well, I guess... So, next Monday, we're going to geek out on what actually happened in Endgame. Although, we got to be careful about that with spoilers, so maybe we won't do it yet. This upcoming Monday, you and I are both going to the Magic pre-release thing, like over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
It's settled.
See what we played, how we did. Favorite cards.
Spoiler alert, I probably played terribly.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
I'm done with that too.
But
I'll have fun.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's all for fun. I'm not expecting myself to turn out to be secretly the world's best Magic the Gathering player. It's not going to happen. So yeah, next Monday we will geek out about Magic the Gathering, and we will finish writing out the script for the comic book at least. And then moving on from that, like going into future Ravensdale Writes Comics sessions, we'll probably do some more geek out stuff while Samson draws, to give him a chance to kind of catch up with everything, and you'll be able to see it kind of come to life in front of your very eyes.
Yeah, some of the drawing will definitely take place off camera though, just to speed up the process. But I'll save some stuff to draw for sure. Yeah,
Panic Roll. Don't worry about if you mean when you said you may have to miss when we do that. If you're talking about the Avengers Endgame discussion, don't worry. We're not going to do that right away because we realize that some people won't have seen it yet. And we don't want to be those people who like have a stream going and someone logs in and goes, "This looks interesting," and we're like spoiling the end of the movie for people.
Yeah, no,
so we won't do it right away. That'll be a couple weeks down the road. So I wouldn't say that I am great at really many things. One thing I am great at though is scratching a cat's ears. Like, the second I touch my cat's ears, they just kind of go, ugh. And they drool, and they, like, go into a fugue state and everything like that. They can't get enough of it.
That's one of the most satisfying things about cats and dogs, I think, is that when you find, like, their spot or whatever, they're just like, "I love you." Like, it's so great.
Yeah, they're like, "Okay, yes.
Yeah.
You can do whatever it is you're doing forever." Good girl. But anyways, I think that's going to be it for tonight. I am going to be going live on Wednesday. I'm going to be streaming Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is a really awesome game from everything I've heard from the makers of Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne. And the Dark Souls and Bloodborne games are some of my favorites. So Sekiro should be really good. I've heard that it's different enough from those games, though, that I'm going to be hard-pressed to really keep up with the difficulty curve. So we'll see what happens. But it is going to be a blind playthrough starting Wednesday night. It'll be the first time I've ever touched the game. So tune in to see how that goes, I guess. Yeah, so that'll be Wednesday, 7 o'clock, same channel. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great week. And we will see you on the next stream, in capacity or the other.
See you guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Enjoy Endgame. We'll talk more about it later.
Yes.
Panic Roll, closing thought. If your cat closes its eyes around you, it's because they trust you. Facts. Yeah, actually, I agree with that. They do something that Sarah and I call soft eyes, where they basically look at you and kind of go, They do like a slow blink or like half-lidded. Usually when they do that, it means they're really happy and relaxed. So we get that a lot around here. Anyways, have a good night, everybody. We will see you next time.
See you guys.